Welcome to today's MI tip. We've been focusing a lot on the technical skills of motivational interviewing with our oars, and now we're going to shift gears a bit. The technical skills of MI are powerful like Jedi magic, the Force. Incorporating the spirit of MI into your practice is what's going to differentiate whether you're on the dark side or the light side. When you're on the light side, you're never using the tools of MI, the strategies, in a way that would coerce someone to do something that they truly don't want to do. Showing up embodying the spirit of MI is how we can avoid falling onto the dark side. So how on earth do we do that? And what does that even mean? Well, I'm going to try to break it down a little bit. The spirit of MI is the intersection of four different energies: partnership, acceptance, compassion, empowerment. And today's tip is going to focus specifically on partnership. When I think of partnership, I envision two components coming together to create something greater. There's definitely that element of collaboration in MI partnership. However, there are some nuances as well. Ultimately, we are still in the helper role, but we relinquish the expert role so that the client is in the spotlight. We're there to allow them to shine. People often liken an MI conversation to a dance partnership. We are really the supporting partner. We allow the other to have all the glory and the spotlight, but we're there with our wealth of knowledge and expertise to support rather than lead. Another analogy that I've heard over the years in MI trainings is the guide on the side. So we want to be that guide on the side rather than the sage on the stage. As much as we may like to think of ourselves as the enlightened one that others are coming to for guidance, our role is really to evoke and draw out their own inner wisdom, not to impart ours onto them. This becomes extra challenging when our clients come to us seeking answers. It is the spirit of partnership that will allow us to support them in either finding the answers within or guiding them in a way that leaves them feeling empowered. So, partnership in MI, it takes a certain degree of humility to embody partnership when you're practicing motivational interviewing. Because at the heart of it all, and this is where the spirit comes in, we don't fix. And here's the clincher. Even when we think we know what our clients should be doing, we have to resist the urge to tell them what to do or how to feel, because ultimately it's their journey and they're in charge, and we have to let go of our beliefs that we know what's best for another human being. Oof, that's a lot. So this is one of the reasons why motivational interviewing becomes a kind of a spiritual practice for me. There's a constant letting go of being right. There's a constant softening of the ego, your will, not mine. And we seek to understand more so than to be understood. But what if they really want advice? Okay, so we're not going to tell people what to do, but we're not going to leave our clients hanging either. If our partner really wants to take that leap, we're going to be there to support that. Just be sure that you're letting your client remain in the lead, even while you're sharing information or guidance with them. So client remains in the lead. Resist the initial hook and may the force be with you. So that initial hook may sound like, I just need someone to tell me what to do. Don't let that trigger your fixing reflex. Evoke their own ideas first. They may say they don't know and they're wanting advice, but that may not actually be true. And so it's our responsibility to investigate that a little bit. If truly needed, with permission, we can share several options. And we want to keep our options brief, like we're giving them the headlines and asking them what they want to explore further. Don't make this your solo performance. You're still dancing with them, and they should remain very much part of that dance and in the lead. Don't coach-splain. Check their own knowledge first. So you may have heard of the term mansplaining. Well, there's no coach-splaining in partnership. So always check in with them first regarding what they already know before you launch into coach-splaining. So here's a little snippet of what great partnership sounds like in coaching. And this comes from one of our coaches, Megan, on the wellness coaching team. And she really channeled into the force with this one. So her client said to her, I'm having a really hard time with meditating on my own. I'm having a really hard time just doing it. Once I start, I can. It's not like I can't, but I can't seem to get myself going, and I don't know why. Ugh. What juicy bait for the fixing reflex. Don't you just want to try to jump in and solve this person's problem? But coach didn't do that. In the spirit of partnership, instead, she evoked importance by asking, what is it that you think about mindfulness or meditation would help you with? To which her client responded, I think my stress level is way too high. And I don't think that helps with any of the things that are going on in my life. I think that if I can keep my stress level down, and coach reflected that change talk back. Okay, so basically giving you those moments of calmness that would be helpful to bring peace into your day. And then she asked her client, so what have you come up with so far that you're doing to do that? And the client responded with a mixed review of her efforts, mostly including a lot of reasons why what she had tried hadn't worked. So coach then offered an empathy-rich reflection. It just stresses you out more to have to take out that time to do something that de-stresses you. But finally, at that point, coach didn't want to leave her client hanging. So she used the ask, offer, ask format to support her client. Would you like for me to offer you some ideas on what could be helpful for that? And then she proceeded to offer 3 options using very neutral language like some people find and other people prefer. And then she followed up by asking, what are your thoughts on some of those options? So her client then chose one option and went on to create a small doable next step around it. And you may never get to the part where you're offering information and options to your client, and that's okay. And by the way, sharing information with this ask, offer, ask format is another skill that we'll have an MI tip on coming up. So here's one more thought around partnership in the spirit of MI. And this comes from MI trainer Paul Berg, who is also a member of the Motivational Interviewing Network of Trainers, or MINT. I promise to work with you as your helper and not as your boss. I promise to remember that you are the expert on you and on your life, and that I will not attempt to assume that role on your behalf. I promise that I will involve you every step of the way in the work that we do together. I promise to remind you from time to time to let me know if you ever feel me getting too far ahead of you, or if it seems like I'm pulling or pushing or persuading you to do what I might want you to do. For a while, I would read this to myself before I went into a coaching session. So I'm curious what helps you to remain in partnership. What kind of promises or mantras might you want to come up with to help you stay strong in your partnership if you find that helpful? Anyhow, thanks for tuning in, and I wish you a wonderful week.